And we are live. How you doing, coaches? Welcome. Hope everybody is doing all right. You're safe. You made another week. I really don't know what week this is in quarantine. The days just kind of run together. I know when it's Friday when my wife says that she's going to sleep all day because she doesn't have to go to work. Um, so what we're doing is we are going to send this out. We are talking air raid in the middle school because I know a lot of coaches hit up 92 Mesh, a lot of people on Twitter, and they ask, can we run the air raid at the middle school level? And you had that same question, and you decided we are going to do it. So while the coaches are coming in, could you tell us a little bit who you are, what makes you special, why is that background so badass, and let us know a little bit of your history, man.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. First of all, before we get started, kind of a fanboy moment right now. And I'll get into this in a minute, but you like literally were my introduction to spread and air raid, finding your videos. So I'm just excited right now to be talking with you. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on. As you stated, I do run the air raid at the middle school level. I grew up at a way back. We all kind of grew up running these traditional running offenses, but when my son got into the youth, back into youth football a handful of years ago, I started coaching, and man, it's been a fun journey to get back into football. I was lucky enough to play a little bit in high school and some in college at the University of Nevada. But after 20 years ago, I've been away from the game for so long, but it's just been so fun getting back into it at the youth level with my son. But they got to an age at the middle school where, we've traditionally run split back veer where we are in Northern California. So sorry, I'll start there. I'm in Northern California, about 45 minutes east of San Francisco, in a town called Danville. And one of the schools we feed into is De La Salle. Okay, and they're traditional split back veer.
Yes, they are.
Our organization is not a specific middle school, but it's an organization that feeds multiple high schools here, one of them being De La Salle. And so there's a lot of ties to De La Salle here. The offensive coordinator at this 8th grade level that I took over last year, he's a Hall of Fame De La Salle lineman. He's been calling the veer level for success. We've been a very successful organization. So I came in and kind of rocked the boat a little bit because I just knew we have so much talent. We have so many kids that can contribute that aren't kind of like running backs or wildcat quarterbacks as you see in youth football. They just kind of snap it to one guy and he just takes off and they run that wedge play and drives me nuts. But we have so much talent. I've been on 7 games out here and the flag games that these kids can run it. They can run air raid. So I wanted to come in and run that offense so we could spread the ball around and honestly get more kids involved because the numbers in youth have been diminishing and going downhill, and same with high school around here, at least for the last handful of years. So I thought, let's spread the ball around and have some fun with it. And so then I just started my journey researching and found you, first of all, through watching videos, a lot of big ones like Mr. Taylor. We run his version of 4 verts when it comes to 4 verts, but I run the same way you did, stick and hitch. I run or stick in corner. I run it that way. So just a journey. We had a lot of success this last year, and I've just put out a webinar series and a lot of great feedback. So yeah, I appreciate you letting me come in and talk a little bit about middle school air raid.
Heck yeah, man, because I love throwing the ball. That's what I first fell in love with. I found your Twitter, and I'm going to go ahead and post your Twitter in the comments. And coaches, if you have any comments or any questions, put them in chat. You know how we do things. When I come across it, when there's a little lull in the conversation, I will ask your question. If this is the first time visiting my channel, welcome, Coach McKie. I talk about football. If you like that, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. That's probably the worst way to make a pitch for my channel, but I don't care. So going into 2 things, because I like what you said. One, did you find that the kids were excited once you went to the air raid and they were looking forward to practice? Because you said the popularity was declining, the kids weren't coming out. Is that something that made them want to come out?
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, we've had we have the running backs, of course, just dominate the ball, but we have so many great baseball players here in the area. We have so many great basketball players in the area. And they're all just, man, it's just one of those things where we come out in spring and we install this air raid and kids are just excited. They're telling their friends, we're going to throw the ball with tackle football, not just in 7-on-7 or flag. Get excited about it. But the best thing about it, man, and the way that we run 4 verts and then that kind of bleeds into our quick game is that basically when we on scrimmage, all 4 receivers are engaged. Like they might get the ball. And the running back, by the way, too, right? So depending on alignment, ball can go to so they're coming up to the line and they're engaged. They're like looking at the defense where they're lining up. They're going to run their route full speed because they need to be in the right spot if the ball gets to them. So yeah, there was so much excitement around it in spring. We installed it last year in spring, and then we hit the ground running in the fall, and we had a ton of fun. And by the way, you know who loves it the most? Yeah. And if you've been a coach in high school or you, the parents, they love watching this brand of ball, man.
Okay, so let's go with that. Why do they love it?
Because it's not just a typical 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and and I don't, trust me, I'm not talking bad about running the ball. I was lucky enough to play college because of it. I still run the ball a ton. We have 3 run plays that we just love to death. But to watch these kids, spray the ball around, throw the ball, have fun, score touchdowns, and just be high octane on a tackle, something I've never seen before. I'm a little surprised that the Bay Area is a little bit behind the times with and even to some extent in high school here. They don't run as much spread as you would think, as I've researched around the country. So they just love it. I mean, I've had so many coaches or so many parents come up to me and ex-football players say, man, you run these practices and these games like high school kids. I stole it from high school coaches like Coach McKie, so it makes sense. Looks like that. Yeah, it's just so much different than what they're used to with this, 1 or 2 kids just pounding the ball all game and winning 14 to 10 if they're lucky.
Yeah, and you're getting more kids involved. That means, first off, like you said, parents are happy because now when they come to the game, they're going to see their little Johnny or their little Jimmy maybe actually touch the ball a little bit, and they can have something to be fun. Okay, so I freaking love that. All right, so we got coaches in the chat. Todd, what's going on? Eli, Willie, how you doing, sir? Matthew says it can be ran as low as 4th grade. I know this because I've done it. Hey, high fives and bus laughs, buddy.
Sure.
Jamel, how you doing, sir? Coach middle school as well, coach a nurse. See, that's the one thing I like about YouTube is the little names that you see people have. I freaking love it. Coach Lucci has run it. All right. Let's see. All right. Good evening, Coach Stoll. Okay. So you first start out. So you installed it in the spring, correct?
Yep. So we had about 5 practices where we call the spring ball, but basically I stole you and Coach Salas's 3-day install.
Okay.
And then put that in spring, right? And then we just literally started doing, settle and noose and routes on air and pat and go. I mean, all the staples. Introduced it nice and easy in spring. Really wanted them to get the basic concepts, but really had 5 true pass plays. So we had 3 quick game and 2 drop back game, and I actually talked myself out of mesh for the first half of the season. So really, we only had 4 pass plays and then quick screens, and so we were just repping, just like you guys were preaching, rep, and then do practice the right way. I think that's the key to all this. Even if you're a wing T guy or whatever offense you run, you got to go all in practice. If you're going to try to choose an offense, you just got to do it. So yeah, we started in spring and it gave us a nice little ramp up into the summer.
All right, so I'm guessing stick, corner. What was your 3rd quick game?
So we actually run all verts or forwards as a quick game.
Okay.
If those corners are off 7 yards or linebackers are off 7 yards on any of the 4 receivers, they're going to run a 3-step stick, and we're trying to get the ball out. And that's the easiest way to kind of put it. So we use that as a quick game. And shallow was our main drop back we had mesh, we practiced mesh all year. I just talked myself out of it, but I wish I ran it more because that outside speed out is deadly. You can't be covered.
So why'd you talk yourself out of it?
I don't know, man. I heard the one, but I heard you mention like you got to really put the time into it, and we put the time in. But I just, the O-line blocking wasn't, that's the only thing at this level that you really need to have someone that really knows what they're doing. Because I just thinking of 3 to 4 seconds at the youth level where it's kind of 5-on-5 every single time. It's 5-man fronts, 6-man fronts. So, it's a blessing and a curse, right? So there's less linebackers, less DBs, but then you got to have 5 hold up on every pass play. So I just talked myself out of mesh, but we started running it toward the end of the season, and I do wish I ran it earlier. So I'm gonna run it from day one this year.
Okay. Coach in chat says he did the same thing. He practiced mesh so much, but didn't run it at all. So you're not alone. You're not alone. How long did it take for the kids to grasp, like, for instance, find grass, take grass? How long was it before they finally realized, oh, I have this route, but in the process of running this route, if I'm wide open, I can just stop and hopefully the quarterback gives me the ball.
Yeah, it didn't take that long, to be honest. They started, and I think the news and Pat and Go and Routes on Air, it all kind of preaches the same things over and over and over. So it helped quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was a new concept to them. They had never seen anything like it. They'd never seen a speed out versus a square out. I'd never heard of a snag or a shoot route. I'm like listening to you the first time, I'm like, what the heck is a shoot route, man? Well, I got to look this stuff up. But yeah, once they got it, they locked in. And then so if you ever see my cut ups on corner, and I use it as an example, that snag that's coming in the first game of the season, it's not perfect because they're not just going where they need to go and then settling, but you can see them, like, as the outside linebacker is widening, he's slowing down, thinking, is this grass here? And then he accelerates the other side and then does his stuff. So you can just see it as the year progresses, them just getting more and more comfortable. But once you got into it, it didn't take long. They really just love the fact that they were sitting in grass and the quarterback, it's a much easier throw than them trying to hit them full speed on a cross the field land or something like that.
All right, well, we have our first question. Actually, we have two. One, Coach Connor wants to know, have you ever tried slide protection? So what was your base pass protection?
Yeah, so going into the year, my mindset was half slide because of you. But it turned, I mean, we literally saw a 4-man front the first game of the season and the last game of the season. Out of 14 games, we took it all the way to a NorCal title. We saw that twice. So really, it was really just big on big. And then we go 2 back, and in that scenario, we'd have one of the running backs, pick up the mic if needed. But big on big, I'm going to make some real changes. I saw this great, vertical drop video from Shane Dular that really changed my mind on that. But yeah, I think we're going to go to a 2-step vertical drop right now for our women. But last year it was just big on big. They try to get a little bit of space, and then it was just mono on mono, honestly, because it was just happening so fast for these kids.
Okay. And that's what we're going to do this year. We're going to go to the 2-step. We're still going to half slide it, but we're going to 2-step half slide. That sounds like some kind of country dance. Another one, Coach wants to know, did you try to use R4 this year, or were you just straight up, hey, here's the grass, if there's color here, don't throw it, if there's not, throw it? Like, how'd you teach your quarterbacks how to throw the ball, I guess, when they're open?
Yeah, I mean, it's just by progression. So stick's probably the best one to talk about because corner is a little different. But like stick, so it's always, I mean, you're essentially reading the outside linebacker to the concept side, right? Like that's if he goes out to the flats, you're going to throw the stick behind him in the hook to curl, right? And vice versa. We tried to teach it as, reading those grass areas versus just reading that outside linebacker. But we'd say, hey, this guy's the most likely to affect either of those grass areas. One of the things that I want to do this season, I don't feel like I put that outside linebacker on quick enough, and it's probably my fault. The shoot routes, I was allowing the RF, the inside receiver on, like, let's say 3-by-1, to kind of run two yards up, and then it's almost like an out versus him just going right to the sideline. So that linebacker would kind of just sit and watch these two guys almost come out at the same time at him. So he didn't have to make a decision quicker. So I think I'm going to do a couple of things, like maybe put that guy in a quick motion out to just affect that guy's eye, so he can see, so the quarterback can see to choose quicker. But yeah, we are reading the grass areas. I mean, it's so quick that the ball's coming out pretty quick, right? It's either that linebacker goes in or out, and you're kind of reading the other way.
I completely agree. All right. Todd says that he's a middle school coach and he's dying to participate because I think he's going this next year. But his wife and him are watching a movie, so he's looking forward to the replay. Todd, have fun, enjoy the time.
What movie? What movie is good?
Yeah, what movie? I don't know. Sidebar: have you seen the new Chris Evans movie, Extraction?
Man, I have been dying to watch it, but
it's good.
My wife and I have been spending so much time that I can't watch this kind of movies. When it is a rule in our house, you can't watch a action movie like that while she's trying to sleep. So I'm gonna have to sneak out one of these nights.
Put some freaking earphones in and just zone out. That's what I did. I watched it last night. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I've heard that.
All right, so we all have our favorite plays in the air raid. Mine stick, obviously, and inside zone of the run game. What is your favorite play?
Oh my gosh, I have to throw it up between all verts and corner. I'm just because we scored so much on them. I probably corner to be honest, even though we scored more out of all verts or four verts. And might just be because in our league we saw single high safety. 13 out of 14 games. The last game of the season we saw too high. So that corner was like, unless that corner back to the base side bailed out completely, that corner shot was open every time. So I just love it. You can call it anywhere on the field. It's a great red zone play, but it's a great middle of the field play too. So probably corner if you held a gun to my head.
Okay. I'm not going to, but I like that answer. Okay. I like that answer. So we've got the passes. What runs did you do? And were any of them RPOs, or was it just straight up hand the ball off?
Oh, man. Yeah, I wanted to do RPOs, but honestly, I couldn't really even find the time to figure out how to do it in year one. But yeah, our GT counter was our bread and butter. I don't know, man. I love passing the ball. I love air raid, but honestly, GT counter, it's up there with corner for my favorite play, just in general.
Okay. Why's that?
My favorite air. Just the way it hits, the way I love creating angles on the line. I never learned zone blocking just personally, so I don't teaching it yet. But I just know with these gap schemes that we grew up with, it's very specific what each person is doing. You're creating angles for the guys on the front side they wouldn't typically have. So as long as they just get their body in the right spot, that block is almost guaranteed. And then just the counter action and two guys coming up into the play side, it just creates so many problems. And even when those guys don't execute their blocks or that alley block, just there's so much going on that a lot of times it'll just pop regardless. So I just love that play. It's a powerful play for us.
Okay, I love it. Coach wants to know, do you allow your quarterback to make reads? I would pre-snap read and tag on passes based on what the D was showing. Check with me pre-snap. Or do you just let your quarterback just go and be like, hey, this is what we're doing?
Just in general, do we audible? I'm sorry, I didn't really understand. If we're talking about run game or pass.
For the pass, let's say, is your quarterback going through his progressions or being like, hey, I'm calling this, and then I'm going to tell you who to throw it to?
Oh no, yeah, he's picking who he's throwing to. That's nice. For sure, 100%. yeah, like we said, we're just reading that essentially the outside linebacker, but the grass out there for stick corner. And then, yeah, like I said, all verts is just if they're 7 yards off or more, then we're throwing a quick little 3-step stick or hitch. And if they happen to be up, that's when we start reading, we the safety, and then we play like a 2-seam with our F or H, most people call them, and the going right up seam, and then we're just reading the safety and whoever he doesn't take. But he's definitely know who to throw to, unless we're like, hey, throw the swing because we want attack something. But for the most part, he's reading it.
Are you tagging the wide receiver? Like, is the quarterback given on 6, like, hey, I want you to sit down? Or is it just they know it? It's kind of like, oh, they both see that corner that far out, and they both know I'm going to take 3 steps and turn around and throw it to him. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. We literally rep it every day. And if it's the 7-yard mark or more, I mean, it's just a hard rule, and it's not a
nice.
You don't get to choose. It's if he's 7 yards or more, running 3-step stick. If he's not, you're trying to get to the open grass behind him.
I like that. I freaking like that, man. And see that shows that you can do that. You know?
Oh yeah.
Everyone says that you can't teach the kids, blah, 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 but you're going in there and you're going, no, we can't. So did you have any doubt that this was going to work? Or were you like, sometimes when people put in a new offense or anything like that, if they hit that first little, it's not looking good, they always revert back to what they know. Did you ever have that and you're like, you know what, screw it, this is what I'm going for? Or was it just like lightning in a bottle and they just got it and you never had any problems or anything like that?
Yeah, no, we didn't really ever have problems with the offense itself because, as you well know, and all these air raid coaches know, we're trying to throw short as many times as possible. So it's like 5-yard passes, 10-yard passes. And to be honest, I was battling with these old school De La Salle guys so much that like I was in like defend the air raid mode. I mean, I kept them on my staff to run the run game. We tried to combine it with the split back veer. GT counter just kind of took over. But yeah, so I was in defend mode so much that it didn't even matter. I was going all in no matter what, and it worked out because I mean it's simple plays, guys. I mean, if you guys are cut up, you see a lot of bombs, but that's only because they started trying to take away the quick stuff and made us so deep. so we did. But yeah, it was
nice. Good. I'm glad. Coach Salas just says that we're 2 of his favorite air raid coaches. Coach, you're both of our favorite coach. So, high fives and bus slaps to you. Coach Flynn wants to know, can you go over your practice schedule and how much time you spend on each period?
Yeah. So you guys know I website raidwarded.com. It's basically we did a 10-part webinar series for youth and middle school coaches. Anything you need to know, everything we're talking about is on there, as well as our practice schedule, our 3-day install, and all that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can go download it from there. I don't want me to, Mackie, if you want me to like put it up or anything, but I don't know how you want to do that. But
I'll put it in the chat.
But yeah, so I mean, basically we have those everyday drills, just like we talked about, settle and noose. We start off with that as our warm up, pat and go as the second half of our warm up. And then routes on air, we do that, and we're just repping everything to death. But yeah, I mean, we have, and this is not meant to all of our offense on one day, all of our defense on one day, and then the third day during the season, I should say, the third day during the season is kind of a mix of both. I know a lot of coaches like to do offense and defense on the same day. I don't know. I just find it a little bit more effective for me, at least, where the kids' minds are just locked in. This is going to be an offensive day. Let's bring it.
Okay. All right. Nice. Oh, so like what play are you practicing everything that one day? Are you kind of separating them and you're being like, hey, we're just going to work on this core and then we'll hit the other ones later on? How's that work?
Yeah. So during the install, as if you guys have seen Mackie's and Coach Salas's install, it's like one quick game, one drop back game, one run. And we do the same one every Monday for those 3 Mondays. And then the next install, the next of each of those. So in camp, we are very strategic about, which ones we do in the practice. In a regular season practice, our playbook is so small, there's 11 plays total. So we do run through them all, but, if there's a couple of different we really want to attack that week, then yes, we'll emphasize those. But, with 11 plays in the playbook, and we can get through it all.
Okay.
Either way.
A coach wants to know, what NorCal league do you play in?
So East Bay Youth Athletic League has been around for, T-Birds has been around going to be 61st year when we play this season. We just celebrated 60 last year, but yeah, so we play against like San Leandro, who's near Oakland, and a bunch of teams out here in the East Bay, some good teams.
Okay. All right. Steven says, I found the kids can handle a lot. We ran the Baylor choice stuff, and they took to it pretty quickly. Just got to rep it and clearly define what they are looking for.
Exactly. Be very, very clear, and they love this stuff, man. They feel they're playing, pitcher ball when we do stuff like this. They're just not used to it with pads on, and they just love it.
All right. Coach wants to know, if your QB is making reads, do you go over man versus zone concepts with your team? What do you mean by that, Coach? Go ahead, type that in chat for us. I don't know that much about middle school. Do y'all get film? Can you scout, or is it kind of you're just going in the game and you're like, I don't know what they're going to run, but this is what we're going to run, and I'm going to base my calls on that. How does that work?
Yeah. This league takes it pretty serious. We're super competitive. So yes, we all get film. We all have a shared huddle league account where we upload our film from the week before, and then we equally scout each other. I've gone kind of too far with it, but I tend to get obsessed with things when I get into it. So I've actually broken it down, like play and formation and all that stuff, so I could spit out my stats like you guys at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. We have film sessions for the kids, chalk out the week before what things that they did wrong that we need to correct, and then kind of show what the concepts for the next opponent is. So yeah, okay. we go all out, coaches and the players for the film.
I like that. Now, you said the old De La Salle coaches they didn't take to the air raid. Did they ever come around, or what was their they never did?
Man, it was so funny because I literally spent the whole last offseason, knowledgeable football guys that have had decades and decades, not only at schools like De La Salle, but like so spent but I wanted them to buy in, right? To some extent, I want them to run the run game. I want their knowledge. So I had beers every Monday with a couple of the guys at downtown here, just shooting the crap with them, just trying to really get their head wrapped around this whole thing. And even literally the Thursday practice before the NorCal title game, I'm out there adjusting our out route for mesh to telling that outside receiver, maybe it's going to be a corner, or maybe it's going to be more toward the sideline, because now we have two high safeties for the first time. And he's over here just chirping at me about, well, if we ran the ball more, we wouldn't have to worry about, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, like literally we're 13-2 at this point. The quarterback has 30 touchdowns. My running is 14 touchdowns. So like we're doing it all in every aspect, and he's still chirping at me about wanting to run the ball more. I'm like, sometimes it's fine, whatever. I love the guy, and he's a great coach. One of those things. Some guys just don't want to change, and that's fine.
No, they don't. And for the life of me, I don't understand. A lot of people think the past makes you weak, and I've had this problem before. A lot of people think, let's just run the ball, we'll overpower them, do all that. But I always counter with, hey, I want to run the ball, but I would rather run the ball when there's 5 men in the box and not 8 men or 9 men like that. So once we can get them out, then we can hand the ball off. My question to you is, did you did you go all in, drink the Kool-Aid, let your quarterback change plays at the line of scrimmage, or were you like, no, this is what I want, and you're just going to find the open guy?
So one thing that I've found is good football games are pretty quiet in the big scheme of things. You come up to the line, huddle or not, and if I six and we saw all the space in the deep third on the far right, I literally could just yell out, or just go, hey, Y corner, right? And then we'd change it. So we were able with them at the line quite a bit. Coach Knapp and his advanced quick game where he already kind of built in where it's like start with this play, and if they see this, go to this play, and if they see this, go to this play, which is genius. I wish I had known about that beforehand, but not. I mean, we didn't really have that because we only saw one look for 99% of the time. It was single high, single high safety and cover three. So like there really wasn't much need to do it. Just when we were like trying to run a Larry or Roger screen, a quick screen, and they were taking it away, then we'd call six. So change it to six. You know what I mean?
So you were essentially calling the plays from the sideline because it was that quiet. I bet that was not that many people. Did y'all huddle? Because you said something about huddling. Did you huddle and then go, or was it hurry up? Like, how'd you call in plays?
It was a mix. We started the season off huddling, even, trying to incorporate under center plays. But yeah, halfway through the season, we were just jogging up the line, Y corner, go, Y stick, go. And it was just off. I mean, I wouldn't say that we were trying to do breakneck speed. We did put in a NASCAR series where it was just quick screeners, depending on the lineup, where we just yell NASCAR and they knew it was either one of those. But for the most part, just kind of like get up the line, look over on the play, get going.
Nice. Jeff wants to know, is your video number 11 out, scripting the field?
So that's something, and that's a great question because it's on the thing, and I didn't do it yet because I'm so against preaching stuff that I didn't do well. And I honestly, when I'd have these great scripts, like beautiful, color coded and all this, like page, it's all full, and then I didn't look at it once, right? And that happened so many times over and over. And so again, I saw Coach Knapp, might have been on your, I was on your show talking about scripting the field. I'm like, man, that is the way to do it. So yeah, I'm gonna have somebody much better than I teach that to on this webinar series, because for me at this point, all I'm gonna do at this point is like when I'm coming out, I'm gonna have 3 plays that I can look at. Okay, these are the 3 plays. In the middle of the field, I'm gonna have X amount of plays to look at to call. But I just get into the game and that script just goes out the window. So I don't think it's gonna be effective for me to literally script it out and try to call it exactly. I get too wrapped up in the game and want to call it on what I see. But sorry, to answer your question, it will be released. I'm trying to get someone better than me to do it, so you guys get real value out of it, as opposed to me just babbling like I just did.
No, that's fine. I totally understand that. Coach wants to know, does your QB pre-snap read the coverage? Like, what are you teaching your quarterback when he comes up to the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, he's more looking at the alignment of the DBs and linebackers more than coverage. Again, we saw single high, 3 deeps zone. He is looking at where the defenders are aligning. In our other quick game corner and side, which I got from McKie, is running sticks, and if they're off 7 yards, even though we called corner or shallow or stick over here, he's not gonna run the play. He's gonna throw out there. So it's more about alignment than like what we're in, just because it's not really a question where we play. But they know. I mean, they understand. But we don't spend too much time on the actual coverages at this level, for us at least.
Okay. All right. And let's see. I saw another one. Coach wants to know, how much do you see cover 0?
One team tried to get in our grill, and actually that was one of the teams that beat us this year, because they just brought the house the whole time and cover and just like smothered our receivers. They weren't, and it's my fault. That's on me for not getting on them enough about trying to get off their wide receiver drills. But yeah, and just like any other thing that you're not used to it definitely affects you. But if you have a plan, and the thing I love about this air raid is that there's built-in blitz beaters or man to beaters kind of involved, kind of built into it. So that running back swing, for instance, we put them in a push in and then just swing it out to them quick when it was just they were bringing the house and trying to press our receivers, and we can get the little things like that are just kind of in as which too often that we, but definitely should have a plan for that, because some coach is going to get annoyed and just say, screw it, we're just going to bring the house, see what happens.
Yeah, that's especially when you go to it, and that's something you're not. I found that when we went to it, the first time defensive coordinators see that kind of offense, they're like, you know what? I don't really believe you're going to stick with this. You're going to fall back to what you used to do. So I'm going to bring the house. And like you said, having those answers built in, that really catches them with their pants down. So that running back swing will work and everything. And also the good thing is, once you've done that, now okay, if a team does this, this is what we should do. So I now have that built into the back of my head and mind for the next time someone does that.
Yeah, it's a fun chess game, and I think that's what has been the funnest part for me getting back to football. It's just the chess pieces. It's unlike anything else that I've done or coached along the way. So I love about it, that part of it, guys.
Okay, so on backside quick game, are you doing the slant and hitch on all of it?
Double stick.
Double stick. There you go, Coach. Right there. Coach Johnson wants to know, how do you help your quarterback understand the game more and how to see things and read the defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's just all honestly, I think it's just all about relationships. Really being able to communicate with them and just explain why. I think you hear that a lot. Explain the why. And Coach, you and Kurt Warner went over quite the other night, man. That was an amazing interview. And dude, you should interview more people like that, because you're actually asking some really amazing questions. But
I shot my shot. It happened. Hey, I'm trying to shoot it with JJ. So if y'all haven't, go on my Twitter account. I'm asking if y'all could just retweet that and just do it. I mean, we're in quarantine. Why not? But
no, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's just more about communication and just explaining why we're calling certain things, not just saying if the outside linebacker does this, do that. It's more about like, okay, so this open grass is here because of not only the linebacker, but this outside release go by the R, like he's taking the corner there. So if you just explain to them how it all works together, I think they pick it up pretty easy.
Okay, hey Matthew, ask that question again. I really didn't understand it at all. Tyson says I need to get Mike Leach. Dude, I would love to interview Coach Leach, but I don't think amazing. We would probably still be here if I got him on a live stream. Like, you don't cut that man off. How difficult will it be now? Because I'm sure you're going to run the same stuff this year coming up as you did last year. Do y'all have spring ball for middle school, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, technically there's not like a preset spring ball. We've been doing it because it's all volunteers, right? So we're not getting paid for this. This is a 501(c)(3) volunteer organization. It's all dads. So technically there hasn't been. I've been doing it because like I said, I get obsessed. I'm middle school coaching for the next handful of years with my kids. I want to go to high school at some point, but so let's do everything we can. And I've definitely, we've done the last 2 years, nothing like with pads or anything, but it's more like 7-on-7. And then we'll find a scrimmage with a random squad that's doing the same thing around the Bay Area. So definitely want to do as much in spring as possible. And really the goal of that is just introduce the concepts and get these guys, get used to the routes and those type of things. And then that just builds on when we get to camp and really go full speed.
Okay. And the reason why I asked that is because you're a smart dude. Have you thought, are you simplifying even further because we don't know when we're going to get our kids? Or do you think it's so simple right now that you can just go ahead and just install the same stuff you did this past year?
So we had 2 spring ball practices before this
Oh, okay.
quarantine. So, and it was just quick game practices. And what I did, and kind of one of the reasons why I got started with this webinar series was right before spring ball, maybe about 2 months ago, I created 5 videos for the players. And I made these videos as if I was talking to them. And I, just like I did on my other videos, but to the kids, I created an all verts video. So they can go watch it. And I emailed the night before or the week before, hey, we're going to do all verts on the field. Watch this 10-minute video. And this is how they communicate with each other, right? They're on YouTube, they're on Instagram or whatever. So I created our core 5 plays, like 10-minute videos with kids. I can just assign, the kids to watch this video before we hit the field. And then we got on the field, and I think all of it kind of works together. So we do run, the actual plays in spring ball. I wanted to make a way where they can consume it in their own time. Obviously, with this situation, we're probably not going to have a full summer camp. So I think, my goal was to run add cross to our arsenal this year, because I've been like, I'm in love with that play. I want to run it so bad. And I don't know, something like that. Maybe I won't put it in this year because, I was hoping that we'd have spring to work on that. But we're definitely going to go run the same 5 plays and then mesh the whole year from the beginning. So we're going to run the same exact things. I've adopted that swing your sword attitude, and I've tried to pass along to the kids and the coaches. Like, I don't care if they know what we're going to run. They still got to stop us, right? Like, whatever.
I like that.
We'll keep it pretty much the same.
Good. Although I will say that if you do have that chance, I'd put in white cross. I freaking love it. It's
man, it's
awesome.
such a pretty play.
Todd says that it would be a good thing to get Leach on there just for the randomness and everything like that. Hey, if y'all want me to, I'll shoot my shot again, and if y'all retweet it, that's fine. Adam wants to know, he's a middle school coach and offensive coordinator. He's concerned about QB arm strength. He's a 6th grade team, and the quarterback is a smaller kid without much arm strength. What concepts do you recommend him use with that knowledge that he doesn't have a kid that's not 6'5" with a rocket laser arm?
Yeah, I first thing I'd say to you is don't sweat it. I'd be more concerned with the kids' like love for football and football IQ and an arm. Honestly, the snags that we throw, the sticks that we throw, they're all 5-yard throws. They're not like deep shots. And in the way that I kind of set up my system, just a little bit different than the high school guys, is we really focus on the 2 slot receivers, we call them F and Y, and the running back. So it's kind of a 3-man game with those guys. And so the throws are all kind of just, 5 yards left or 5 yards right or 7 yards down the field, or swing route. So do you want a kid that can throw 15 to 20 yards? Yeah, sure. You'll have a chance to go over the top when they start coming up on these, when they get sick of hitting pitches in their faces all day. But even the seam shots on all verts, when we get beyond the linebackers, it's still only a 10 to 15 yard pass. Okay, so yeah, I'd just be more concerned about the IQ and just, quick 5-yard passes, quick screens, hitches, snags all day until the cows come home.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot of people forget. Remember, this offense is the throw it short to people who can run long. Yep. So you don't have to have that rocket laser arm and everything like that. 100%. Coach, we run the same concepts. Coach, you can run the same concepts. You can condense your formations. And I would add to that, if you go back and rewatch the Kurt Warner interview, he actually talks about that, how on his scissors concepts, he likes to bring guys in and condense it because you're attacking the flat really well. And I was like, that makes sense. That's why you're a Hall of Famer, because I would never, even think about it.
That's a huge point, to get that corner in so you have more space out there.
It's so simple when he broke it down like that, but no one thinks about it. Yeah. Coach Lucci says when we run 6 or take a shot, we tell the kids it doesn't have to be completed 20 yards down the field. Hit them 7 to 10 yards, and we are good.
Right.
All right. we're closing in. I have another meeting. I'm sorry that's coming in, but I want to ask something. I'm a middle school coach, right? I see you having success. I see you talking to other people about having success. I want to run this offense. What are your number one tip for doing this? If I'm going into
Yeah,
it this year, going to run it.
I would say don't dabble. I know a lot of coaches, don't they want to just, maybe I'll just run corner, or maybe I'll just run stick and just see how that goes. Well, guys, just like any other offense, you got to go all in. You got to practice like an air raid team. We put everything on the website, just so you guys, and I think that's been the biggest thing that I've heard is like, and actually what my problem was, like, I want to do this, I just don't know how. Where do I start? And luckily for me, I found Coach McKie, and he was my jumping off point. And so that's why I made this series, is so coaches, if you're interested at all in just knowing about how to do it at the middle school, it is A to Z. But the practicing is 100% it. Or if you're a school coach and you want your youth organization that feeds you to have already kind of instilled these air raid principles, like they can just look at these webinars and at least have a really have a A to Z how to do it, and we give you all the practice plans. We give you everything that you need, and obviously Coach McKie has a ton of great stuff. Most of it's just from him anyway. But yeah, just go all in. If you're thinking about doing it, there's no reason not to. They can do it. I have not done it at the 5th and 4th grade level, but I'm convinced 100% 6th grade and above, they're going to be successful if you just coach them up right.
Nice. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm gonna have to get you
Yeah.
back on because I love hearing how you and you need to follow. I'll put his Twitter and his website into the comments on the replay. It'll be in the description and down in the comments first. But if you go to his Twitter, he has a highlight video of everybody running that stuff, and I freaking love it, man. It is amazing. It is great.
Yeah,
So
we got cut ups on there, and every play broken down. We have full games on there. So anything you guys need, we're not just blowing smoke. Honestly, I got into this, coach, to help youth football get numbers back, and just to give coaches the option. If they want to run the spread, they want to run air raid, you don't have just because that's what there's options out there.
awesome.
Coach.
Awesome. And yeah, hit him up on Twitter because he will answer any and every question that you have. So, coaches, thank y'all so much. Please be safe. Wash your hands, bob and weave that virus and everything like that. And until next time, let's continue to master the spread, score points, and have fun. I hope you'll have a great night.